Richard Sherman back in the NFL. There's been a lot of talk about where he was going to land. Some teams interested, some teams reportedly interested. The 49ers, I'm telling you, they didn't want the guy back. I'm sorry. If anyone disagrees with me. I know they didn't want him back. They were being nice. They were being diplomatic. They didn't want him back.
Richard Sherman said they expressed great interest in his
great
podcast
interest, not
today.
just
great
interest.
interest.
Of course. And where was the offer? They signed Buster Skrine the moment that he made a beeline for Tampa Bay. They waited for him to go to Tampa Bay to sign Buster Skrine. Like, oh, he's finally signing with somebody else. We can go sign Buster Skrine now. Here's Richard Sherman from earlier today talking about his new location and when we can expect to see him on the field. Could it be Sunday night against the Patriots?
It's anybody's guess. I need at least a week of practice, you know what I mean, to really hone things in, to play at the level I'm capable of. You know, I think it'd be foolish to expect me to come out this week and you know, I mean, and play at a super high level. If I did it, you know, it'd be another thing to chalk up as a cool thing I did. But I think the expectation is for me to train and to get in shape and to give me an opportunity for the following game.
Yeah, so much for all the people who were breathlessly suggesting that he would walk right through the door, practice today, tomorrow, Friday, and play Sunday night in New England. He's going to need at least a week. The guy hasn't been practicing. He's not necessarily in football shape. I don't know how long it takes a guy to get in football shape when he jumps on board in late September. I think part of the problem, and it's not a problem, it's just the reality, he hasn't signed previously because he represents himself. He's wanted more than what teams have offered. I think he just got to the point where he decided to take the best offer he could get, and he went to Tampa. And not a bad choice to go to Tampa. You may get another Super Bowl ring in Tampa. We'll see what he's got left in the tank. We'll see how he gets along with his teammates. We'll see if he's happy with his playing time. We'll see if he's happy with his performance. We'll see what he does in that defense. You know, he's been in a very specific defense his entire career. The Todd Bowles approach isn't the classic Seattle approach, and you got to use him the right way. We'll see. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's getting a chance, and we'll see what he does with the Buccaneers. That's all we can say at this point.
Well, not only the things you mentioned, but we got to see if he stays healthy, right? Because 2 of the last 3 years that he's been playing, he just really hasn't been healthy for most of the season. He only played 5 games last year for the San Francisco 49ers on IR for a long time. With that calf strain. So he's also 33 years old. You know, he's getting up there in age. And he even talked about, like, you know, we got to see what these old legs can still do. But I did think it was interesting. You know, he puts out the video in the podcast and he's talking about himself in the third person and talks about how all these teams showed great interest in me. I mean, we mentioned San Francisco, and then he says, oh, well, the Carolina Panthers were also interested before they traded for CJ Henderson, who they had seemed to really like. In that draft process going in there last year. You know, we talked about a couple other teams that had showed interest in him. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. I mean, obviously talking about Tom Brady personally reaching out as well and all of that and what that entails. I don't know. The whole third person thing to me in that video, I don't know how much of it you watched, Mike, but I was just like, oh, come on, man. When people start talking about themselves in the third person, it just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. I'm sure Richard Sherman will be great, but come on, you got to do that. That's weird.
So what you're telling me is Myles is getting upset.
Yes. Myles Simmons is getting very upset from Richard Sherman talking about himself.
I've never been a big fan of the third person stuff either. I agree with you there. I'm just glad he's getting an opportunity, and we'll see what he does with it. We'll see what he has left in the tank. But I'm telling you, and Sims and I talked about this earlier today, and I don't want to beat around the bush. This is what I heard back in 2019, and I've heard nothing since then to refute it. If anything, what I've heard behind the scenes confirms it. After his first season with the 49ers going into 2019, if Jason Verrett stays healthy, which has never happened really, but if he had stayed healthy then, Sherman was getting cut before the start of the 2019 season. And it's amazing because what happened was they had a great defense. He had a great season. Second-team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, started cashing all his incentives in and looked like a genius for the contract he negotiated. Well, he had to do all those things to get that money, but he was dangerously close to getting cut after 1 year with the 49ers. And then last year, in his final year with the 49ers, it was clear that it wasn't going to continue. And this weird dance that had gone on from time to time with the 49ers possibly bringing him back, I knew it was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. And I don't think it's a coincidence that on the same day he went to visit the Buccaneers and eventually signed a contract, that's when the 49ers signed cornerback Buster Skrine.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.